Oh, we are from ourselves.
Yeah.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going.
And so we're locked in right now with everything that has been unfolding with the fraud going on in Minnesota. And this is what Ilhan Omar has been trying her best to sweep under the rug. This is what Tim Walz has been pretending he didn't know existed all this time. And so an independent journalist, you guys are going to want to stick around for this. An independent journalist just blew the lid off of the fraud going on in Minnesota, exposing everything that the mainstream, the multi-million-dollar mainstream media has been ignoring and keeping from you and I. And the $9 billion of taxpayer money that was defrauded from the American people by the people of Minnesota, most of which we know now are coming from the Somali community. We're finding out that's only the tip of the iceberg. And so as always, smash that thumbs up. That tells me you like the video. Subscribe to the channel for more and share this video. That way more people see what's really going on. And so what's been going on right now is that Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz don't want people really thinking about the fraud happening in Minnesota. And so they've been doing their best to distract, misdirect, and spin, pushing whatever fake narrative they can to pull attention away from it.
We hear rumors, we hear suggestions of things, because that's how they operate, that there will be an increased presence. I would tell you, if I were a betting person, they will do it over these holiday seasons because it makes it especially cruel. It makes it especially mean-spirited. It makes it especially traumatizing for communities that wish to gather and to celebrate in their faith on these most important of the high holidays in all of our faiths. I would not put it past this administration to target midnight mass services amongst folks going to worship, because that's who they are. And God knows they're not going to church, or if they are, they're not doing it the way that we were taught.
No, we are doctors, we are teachers, we are entrepreneurs, and we are elected representatives of our state. And so these vile comments and this sort of creepy obsession that that he has on me and Somali Americans really is dangerous, and it's beneath the office of the presidency.
And so while Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz are trying to get everyone to look the other way, away from the fraud, and the mainstream media outlets, they are giving them the platforms to be able to do so without doing any actual digging and investigating and asking questions about, hey, what's really going on here? It's a good thing that there are people out there who are really asking those questions and doing what we're going to find out, the not even that difficult work of just asking some basic questions, doing some bare minimum digging, and finding out a whole lot of information when it comes to this fraud. And so I brought this up right here. Let me go ahead and read this. It says, man explains exactly how he stumbled upon an alleged multi-billion-dollar fraud scheme in Minnesota. I would see these child care centers. I said, well, there aren't any kids there. It's the middle of the day. I started to see all these transportation companies going around, and it was always a Somali driver, but they never had a passenger, never once. There's one building that has 14 Somali healthcare companies at the same address. There's another building in St. Paul that has 22 Somali healthcare businesses at the same address. What has happened is that the Somali community is very close. They will not speak to anyone outside the community. Insane. And so this is an independent journalist by the name of Nick Shirley. I've been looking at his work for some time now, and he's done a fantastic job covering this particular story. He does a lot of investigative independent journalism, and what he finds out going on in Minnesota is one thing when we go over the reports and you hear the numbers and we hear the indictments and charges coming down, but it's a whole nother thing when you get the imagery, you get the footage, you get to actually see the people behind these scams and schemes, and it adds that layer of, now you realize just how deep this fraud is running in Minnesota and how it's been allowed to go on for so long. And so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go through a couple of these different clips with Nick Shirley, and he's uncovering so much here. And so let's go ahead and get into this.
How deep is this?
Have something called non-emergency medical transportation. So this is going to the dentist's office, therapy, whatever it might be. And I said, well, how many of these companies are there? And the research came back that there are 1,020 of them, and more than 800 of them are Somali-owned. Nobody from the state of Minnesota ever cross-checks to see if any rides were ever actually provided. All they did was write the check.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen. And so I already shared with you guys the Feeding Our Future scam that currently has 70 plus indictments brought down. Maybe at this point it's more like 80 plus indictments that have been brought down on people involved in the Feeding Our Future scam, where they were saying they were feeding thousands and thousands of children, and they were actually just billing invoices to the government for millions of dollars and really not feeding anyone. And the infamous video where Ilhan Omar is literally endorsing and talking about the Safari restaurant that was in the middle of that entire fraud, and she was on camera. The video's still up on YouTube right now, saying and speaking on all the children that they were feeding. And obviously we now know that was just one big lie. And then I also share with you guys about the autism fraud that was been going on in Minnesota, where they had these fake autism centers saying that they were treating and helping kids with autism. Only problem is they really weren't. What they were doing was recruiting parents and families with children and getting them to sign off. Once again, like he said, the Somali community is very tight knit. So they were finding other Somali families and allowing them to sign off and say that their kids had autism on some level. And then they would receive kickbacks of $300 to $1,500. This is what Senator Kennedy brought to the House floor and was speaking about. The fraud going on with the autism. And then there was also the housing fraud that's going on. And so also another layer to it. And this is why that $9 billion, when you look at everything, it's only the tip of the iceberg. Daycare fraud, transportation fraud. And so there is just fraud on all levels. They had their hand in whatever cookie jar of the government passing out money. They had their hand in all the jars, and they were allowed to do so, because you don't do this level of fraud without people in a position of power willfully allowing it to happen. You don't get away with this level of fraud on this level with millions of dollars. So let's jump into this. I'm going to show you guys some more. Somali Childcare Minnesota. It says you have 102 children here, and you got $2.6 million in funding.
This one is different because, according to the state of Minnesota, this 312 West Lake Street houses not one, not two, but three child care centers and is licensed to hold 102 children, and in fiscal year 2025 was paid $2.66 million by the state of Minnesota.
And this is the building right here. So this building alone made $2.6 million. Let's see if anybody's inside. Now we're inside of the building where there's apparently 4 childcare centers.
We met this lady and we followed her to the back of the building where the daycare was supposedly at.
So right here we have 2 child daycare centers. We have the Minnesota Child Care Center, and then we also have Nuna. Between the two, $2.66 million. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Why are you recording?
Yes. We would like to know.
Well, it says we're trying to figure out 102 children. Is that for this facility?
What is the name? Why is it?
It's from the state of Minnesota website. It says you have 102 children here in your child care.
Which childcare name is a lot of
Minnesota Child Care right here. It's from the state of Minnesota's website. We're just wondering where the children are.
Where the children are?
Yeah, where are the children? It says you have 102 children here, and you got $2.66 million this year in funding, and $2.5 million last year. We're just wondering where the kids are.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley.
And where are you? Which department?
Oh, we are from ourselves.
Yeah.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. Look at that. Shut us down. Where are the children at? No children inside of this daycare center. And look at this daycare center right here. No children inside of this daycare center. But between those buildings, over $2.6 million.
Wow. Wow, ladies and gentlemen. And this is exactly why you understand now why Ilhan Omar, Tim Walz, this is why they're trying to distract. They're trying to misdirect. They don't want anyone really paying attention to what's really going on in Minnesota. Because the level of the fraud that's going on is absolutely mind-boggling. And who knows if we'll ever truly know the real number when it comes to the fraud going on. And so this might be one of the most absolutely egregious clips right here. It says fake Somali healthcare company called the cops on Nick Shirley when he asked for their rates. And so he's inside another building that has a bunch of shady businesses, healthcare businesses that are supposedly supposed to be running here. But shady would be putting it lightly when you see the building and the operation that they're running here. And nonetheless, he's escorted out after they call the police on him, saying that he's trespassing on private property. But let's take a look.
A list of all of the healthcare companies, loads of them right here. We want healthcare.
No, it's okay.
Yes, we'd like to speak about getting healthcare here.
No.
Why can't I get healthcare here?
No, wait. Just.
Warning, you are under video surveillance. No trespassing, security armed. This is the strangest place I've ever been to get healthcare. Just a bunch of different places. Healthcare here, healthcare right here. Another healthcare company right here. There are 3 healthcare companies inside of this building right here in this room of 7C. Now we have another Helping Hands, Home Care LLC, another healthcare company, Present Help right here. We're looking for the best rates of healthcare here inside this building because we have so many options. Who can we talk to about getting the best healthcare?
I don't know.
No?
Sorry.
All right. We will not get any healthcare here. David, this is one of the stranger places I've ever been. Literally, healthcare every door you go to, yet nobody will give you a rate. How much money do you think's been funneled through this building?
Every year, I would say 50 to 60 million at least.
And finally, we were accepted into one of the daycare centers, and they actually took down our information to give us a rate. However, when we left, we were then met with the police.
We received a complaint that gentleman matching your description were in this building harassing the individuals who stay here.
Oh, we're checking out the rates for healthcare. Because there's 14 healthcare companies inside this building, so.
Okay.
Well, that's not what he said. He said there's 14 companies here, and he's trying to assume because they're Somali providers, everyone here is fraudulent.
Okay.
So
He's here with some kind of like propaganda.
No, we're just checking.
No, this is a area that we're allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance. Is there any other reason that you guys are here?
Well, we were checking rates.
No, he's not.
We were checking rates. We asked for rates.
No, you're not.
Okay. I'm gonna have, if you guys are all good, we're gonna step outside and we can continue this conversation.
All right, let's leave. So, all right, we're getting escorted out right now. The police have arrived. We were checking out the rates, seeing what was happening inside this building. No one would really speak with us. We did go inside the one daycare center, and she actually did give us rates for childcare. Much respect to that lady. What's the problem, officer?
Well, so again, we've been getting reports from now multiple individuals that you guys were harassing individuals who work here. At the end of the day, this is private property, and it's one that people are allowed to ask you to leave, and it's also one the Minneapolis Police Department is allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance at this address.
Yeah.
So
As we got escorted out of this building, the Somalis filmed us as we left, and we headed over to the next building that had 22 of the same home health care providers operating from inside of the building.
Fraud is so blatant and out and open. This is why they don't want anyone who actually cares looking into this, because if anyone does just a little bit of digging, it won't take long before they find out exactly what's really going on in Minnesota, as we're seeing right now. And so listen to this. I just want to read this. It says, Minnesota man who's been living next to a Somali daycare center for 8 years says he's never seen a single child there. None. Not at all. And he's been there since 2017. Listen, there's no way possible you could live next to a school, next to a daycare center, and not at some point see children. At some point, if you've been there for 8 years and see children. And so the fact that he's never seen a child, that speaks volumes as far as to how long the fraud has been going on. Let me share one more part of it with you guys, because this is why what is allowed to happen, because you have liberal white women like this woman right here in this clip I'm going to get ready to show you, who she's defending. She doesn't know why she's really defending these fraud businesses, but she's defending them because she thinks that Nick Shirley, she thinks he's ICE, And so she has Trump derangement syndrome, and now she wants to scream and yell and try and think she's alerting people that ICE is around. But her Trump derangement syndrome won't even allow her to see the reality of what's really going on and how these people are stealing money right in front of her eyes. But she doesn't really care to acknowledge the reality of what's really going on here. Take a look.
We headed over to the infamous Quality Learning Center, which actually spells Quality Leering Center on the outside of their sign. That's how blatant this fraud is here at this daycare.
Don't open up!
So this is Quality Leering Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open
They
up!
said they spelt learning wrong.
Don't open up!
How do you have ICE here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up!
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up! We have ice!
And what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children
Don't open up!
and getting $4 million over
Don't
the
open up! It's ice!
$4 million in the last 2 years?
Go away!
What do you think about that? Are you in
Go
favor?
away!
Are you in favor of that?
Go away!
You know where
You're
the-
not welcome here.
Are you-
Shame on you.
Are you in favor of $1.9
Shame
million
on you. It's
going
ice.
illegally,
Don't open up.
fraudulently to this business that has Quality Learning Center but can't even spell learning right on the door?
Don't open up.
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are. You don't belong here.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up. It's ice.
You do realize that there's supposed to be 99 children in here at this building, but there's no one here. This is a
State of
child daycare
Minnesota
center.
says 99 children. Paid $1.9 million this year in CCAP funding. Do you know where the children are? Were they kidnapped? They run away? Where are the children? This is state of Minnesota. Right here.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am.
And who are you with?
Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley on YouTube.
Yeah, so who are you with here?
Oh, he's just been doing some research investigating the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm with Nick Shirley.
This lady, she's calling us ICE. We're just trying to put law and order back in the streets of the United States.
And so there you guys have that. And it's just a shame that you have independent journalists like Nick Shirley who are out here doing the kind of job that you would hope at least you can get from the mainstream multi-million-dollar media, but instead they don't give you these stories. They tell you and they feed you a narrative that they want to paint and deliver to you, the viewer, and get you to believe what it is they want you to know. And that's why they allow Ilhan Omar, Tim Walz, and these Democrat leaders from Minnesota to come on television and pretty much tell you what it is they want you to know and lie to your face about it. And instead of actually getting the truth, you just get what they want you to know, and you got to go to other sources to get your facts. And it's a great thing that we have now the ability for independent sources to be able to get there on the ground. All he's doing is going to these places and he's looking into them and uncovering and doing very simple research that any news media company could easily find out, as far as uncovering even the news media out in Minnesota who allow and did not cover these stories for so long. And now that's becoming national news. Now, all of a sudden, we're seeing all these stories come out from them. So they're also a part of the issue also. But you guys let me know what you think about this story. I'm going to keep my eye on it and make sure I bring it to you. Don't forget, smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel for more. Share this video. That way more people see what's really going on. And as always, until next time.